babies.
Worst contract in Red Sox.
I'll raise you Pablo Sandoval. That's Pablo Sandoval's for me. I mean, like we knew it was 145 million, right? So we kind of knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to there. So I mean, if he comes, like I said, I don't have a lot of faith, but if he comes back and he can justify that contract,
Bill, how many innings has he pitched since they gave him that contract?
9 games, I think, or something. I don't even know.
It's
When did
the
they sign him?
worst
2019
contract in Red Sox history. I get Pablo completely blew out, but he played third base. This guy was supposed to be your number one starter for the next 5 years. He was supposed to be your stud. He was supposed to be your ace. He was supposed to be the guy leading you to World Series. Pablo Sandoval was a third baseman.
How about Hanley Ramirez's contract?
Both those contracts sucked from Sherrington. That was
Carl Crawford had a real. Carl Crawford was They got lucky that they could get rid of Adrian Gonzalez to take Carl Crawford's contract.
Yeah. Here's why I'll raise you Chris Sale, because everybody knew
he owns Megan the Stallion too. You know that?
Everybody knew coming off that 2018 World Series that Chris Sale did not have an arm. Everybody knew he couldn't pitch a whole season. Everybody knew that he was an injury guy. And what the Red Sox do? They gave him 5 years, $100+ million.
Well, Dabrowski.
Terrible signing from top to bottom. Terrible.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the worst, but you knew, like,
when you signed Carl Crawford, everyone went, "Holy shit, fuck yeah!" Adrian Gonzalez, holy shit, fuck yeah, we got these guys, and they flamed out. They weren't good. When
Gonzalez was good,
when they signed Chris Sale to 5 years, $120 million, whatever it was, 45. Everyone went, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then he immediately went on the deal with Tommy John surgery. When they signed Pablo Sandoval, you went, wow, 3-time World Series winner coming from the Giants. This guy might be good. And then he ate himself out of the league. When
he ate himself out of the Red Sox before he played a fucking game. You remember he broke his belt the first spring training? That fat fuck. Like they gave him $98 million. That contract just came off the books this season.
Bill, can the bullpen get better? So you got Schreiber, who's been I
love Schreiber.
Guy's been a diamond in the rough, a Heimblum diamond in the rough.
Rich, hold on before you go. You're gonna hate this, but he's 2018 Ryan Brazier, guy that came out of nowhere and started dominant. I told you he's gonna hate it, but that's that kind of where he's coming from.
I don't. If he just don't mention Ryan Brazier's name, I don't give a fuck.
That's my
about
comparison.
The fact that fucking guy's still on the roster is ridiculous. But Matt Strahm is out there. Houck. Get your fucking shot, but other than that,
he's your closer. I mean, he's your closer. So
Carl Cutter Crawford, has had some ups and downs. Austin Davis, if you want to throw him in there as lefty. Winkowski's had some shining moments. But if you take Schreiber, Strahm, Houck, and Whitlock, you got a decent bullpen there. You got to add an arm, I think. And then is that something that you feel confident in? If you got 4 or 5 of those guys and those arms out there, and then Diekman's a lefty you can toss at lefties, matchup dependent. But between Whitlock, Houck, Strahm, Schreiber, and then at the deadline,
those are your guys.
If they can go add a really strong right-handed arm, do you feel good about it?
Yeah, I mean that's a top 2 biggest need on this team right now is your bullpen. I mean, you've seen it. I keep mentioning your division record. You've probably blown 5 saves against the Toronto Blue Jays this year, at least. I mean, you look at their losses. You were leading late in the game. You're blowing saves. You got rid of one of the culprits in Hansel Robles yesterday as they DFA'd him. I think he gave up like Hansel and Gretel's gone. I mean, you got options out there. Austin Davis has been okay. Cutter Crawford. But your biggest weakness is your bullpen. So if you can slot with, like I've been saying this for years, you need to slot your guys, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Give guys your role in that pen. Whether it's Houck or Whitlock is your closer, figure that out. If you want Whitlock to close, then put Houck in the 8th and put your Schreibers in the 7th and your Strahms in the 6th, right? And just ride those guys. That's where you need to go. Stop. I understand they try to mix and match it, but I mean that's the way to go. The biggest upgrade you could probably get is Daniel Bard. That closer material right now, former Red Sox. I think he's 16 for 18 with saves. He's under a 3 ERA right now. His whip's pretty low. Even pitching in Colorado, that's a big news. I mean, he's been, an acclimation project the last couple of years. He had a bad year last year, but he could potentially be on the move. You can probably get him for pretty cheap. Now you got to start using those prospects and start building that bullpen. That's probably your biggest need outside of first base. So figure that shit out.
I mean, I don't care about the price. It's like you said, you've built your club up, your farm system up to a top 5 farm system in the league. Time to start shelling these guys out and bringing what you need to go.
I would spend
compete for a
if
World
I'm
Series.
dropping prospects. There's a Peter Bedard, I believe, out there in Pittsburgh. He's got 13 saves for a shitty team in Pittsburgh. They're always rebuilding. Ben Cherington is their GM out there. I mean, that's a guy you have Red Sox connections there. Some of the same front office guys. So I mean, you can possibly go after a guy. That's where you need to target. Target a legit closer. Target a guy that you can deploy in the 8th inning, whether it's Whitlock or the 9th inning, whether it's Whitlock or go trade a guy. But that's where you need to target.
How about lefty power? I heard this.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to?
I either read this or heard this somewhere today. Looking at the power from the Red Sox lineup is not. It's a little bit deceiving, and there's not a lot. I know Kiki's still been out, and he's a right-handed guy. But this was brought up. More power. JD Martinez has 8 home runs, more than halfway through the season. He's supposed to be, one of your big home run hitters. Bogarts is going to hit you 20, 25. Stories in the same realm. Like Devers can get you up into the 30s of, obviously, but other than that, there's not another big power bat there if JD Martinez is going to, just stick with his doubles and singles. Is that something you target? First base, right field, lefty power?
You wouldn't have to target any of that shit if Rich, you and I talked about it. Kyle Schwarber, you let him go for nothing.
Ooh.
You know who leads the NL right now in home runs? Kyle fucking Schwarber. Okay. Did you, friend? Your second biggest need is first base. I don't give a shit.
He could play left field in Fenway, couldn't he? I believe someone named Manny Ramirez without a brain.
He could play first base. You're going between Bobby Dahlbeck and Franchi Cordero, right? Did you see him botch a ball? Not even botch it. He dropped it. It hit him square in the gloves. He dropped it. It didn't hurt the Sox, but at the time when you're trying to get a run, I
love all the positive energy coming out of camp though about Franchi Cordero and how much he's been a surprise for the team and the club. It's like, come on, man. And Bobby Dahlbeck, and the positive energy about Bobby Dahlbeck,
who's bullshit,
approaching 230 or whatever. It's like, well, look at his September and August last year. Really? So the guy can go 4 months hitting 191 and then have a 4-week stretch where he's
Jackie Bradley.
You can only have one of those guys and survive, and that was Jackie Bradley Jr. And even he sucks not doing this year. He sucks. Period.
No, but Rich, I'll tell you right now.
Milwaukee, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had his worst year ever in Milwaukee, and then they thought that they could, I don't know, bring him back.
They bought prospects.
Hunter Renfroe, is he still? Where's he? He's got to be still. For a while there, he was leading the NL in home runs. He fell off, but
no, he came back. He hurt a hamstring, and then he just went on the DL last week for a calf injury.
All right, so I'm not crying about Hunter Renfroe. I never was.
Fantasy team, Bill.
They didn't replace him. They didn't replace him with JBJ anyway.
And then home runs. No, I'll tell you right now, but like
the trade deadline's coming up at the end of the month, and the holes have been evident for this team for a while. Back of the bullpen and first base, right field, in a power bat in the lineup. Those are the guys, and you certainly got enough young kids contributing at the big league level now to package something and go get it something real. To take that 9-18 record against your division and try and start to flip it and give yourself a chance in the playoffs.
Yeah, do you want to talk about offense?
We'll see what he does.
Yeah, well, hopefully, but I mean, you had your option in house. That was your biggest thing. You had with Schwarber. What looks better, JD, Story, Dahlbeck, Frenchie, or Story, Schwarber, and whatever the fucking remains of Dahlbeck and Cordero you have?
I'll tell you what, I'd rather have Kyle Schwarber than Trevor Story.
I'd rather have both and would have traded JD Martinez. That was the move to make, and you cheaped out. You were too loyal to go to JD Martinez, and the biggest reason you're loyal is because you signed him on the cheap when no one fucking wanted him. He signed in late February, early March. The year they signed him, he got 3 opt-outs. No one else was going to pay him the amount of money because he's a one-trick pony at DH. You should have got younger. Schwarber's 28 years old. JD's over, I think he's 32, pushing 33 years old, and you saw the fucking power Schwarber had. Now you're chasing chasing what you had already in Kyle Schwarber. That's your fucking second biggest need is power, especially at first base. You're chasing your biggest need, and you already had him. You let him walk. JD is a shell of himself. I'm done with him being fucking third or fourth in the league with doubles. Get him off your team. I've been saying the whole year you should have chosen Kyle Schwarber over JD. I'm 50-50 on Bloom. Like some of the moves, I've been questioning a lot of moves. He's hit on some, but like some are big. Like even Trevor Story's 230, 230 hit 9 home runs in a 14 game stretch. He has 14. So what does that tell you?
The Trevor Story signing actually.
No, he's Xander Bogaerts' replacement for next year.
Well, if they let Bogaerts go for Trevor Story, then I hate it.
He's gone. You're making me angry about the Red Sox. What else are we talking about?
Okay, well then let's
no, just kidding.
let's get some words out of Dr. Big Mac here and throw it over to what should be a interesting, short, simple headlines with the obvious.
Are you really winging this one?